In the ancient city of Babylon, where the golden sun bathed the brick walls in warm light, two young hearts longed for one another in silence. Pyramus, a young man of kind eyes and quiet courage, lived in a home that shared a narrow courtyard with the house of Thisbe, a spirited and gentle girl whose laughter seemed to ripple like the nearby river. Their families, bound by tradition and stubborn pride, had forbidden them from meeting, though the wall that separated their homes could not conceal the longing in their hearts. Every day, Pyramus would linger near the wall at dusk, when the last light of the sun painted the city in amber hues. Through a small crack in the bricks, he would speak softly, and Thisbe's delicate voice would drift back to him. "Pyramus," she whispered one evening, "I wish I could see you, even for a moment, without fear." "I wish that too, Thisbe," he replied, his voice trembling with both hope and fear. "The wall may separate us, but it cannot keep my heart from reaching yours." Through these whispered conversations, they shared dreams, fears, and secrets. They described the world beyond their walls, the flowing river, the orchards of figs, the golden light that danced on the distant hills. They spoke of the future they longed to have, a world where their love could exist without hiding. Each day, they imagined that the wall itself was nothing but a thin veil, a fragile line between two souls destined to be together. At night, they would linger at the window, tracing patterns in the dust, leaving messages for one another. A flower pressed in a crack of the wall, a small note tucked between the bricks. It was in these small gestures that their hearts truly met. In the quiet moments, they felt the presence of the other, a warmth that could not be denied. Yet, despite the depth of their love, fear always hovered like a shadow. Their families, proud and unwilling to bend, could never know of their secret affection. And so, each day ended with the aching knowledge that their love, though pure and powerful, was confined to stolen moments and soft whispers. One evening, as the stars began to appear, Pyramus pressed his hand against the wall. "Thisbe," he murmured, "let us meet beyond this wall where no one can see us. I cannot bear another night without touching your hand, without seeing your eyes." Thisbe's voice, soft and tremulous, came through the crack. "Yes, Pyramus, tomorrow, when the sun sets and shadows stretch long, we will meet near the mulberry tree outside the city walls. There, no one will be able to keep us apart." And with that promise, they parted for the night, hearts full of hope, yet tinged with the quiet fear that life could be cruel, even to the most tender love. The next evening, as the sun dipped behind the horizon, Pyramus slipped through the quiet streets, careful not to be seen. The city, usually bustling, was hushed in the early twilight, and he moved like a shadow, guided by the promise of Thisbe's hand. The mulberry tree, their chosen meeting place, stood at the edge of the city, its branches spreading wide, casting long, welcoming shadows. Thisbe arrived shortly after, her heart pounding in her chest. She had dressed simply, a shawl over her shoulders, and her eyes sparkled in the fading light. When she saw Pyramus waiting beneath the tree, she felt a wave of relief and joy. "Pyramus," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. He took her hand gently, as if afraid to break the fragile bond that had been months in the making. "Thisbe, I have dreamed of this moment every day. To finally see you, to hold your hand, it feels like a dream too beautiful to be true." They sat beneath the tree, sharing stories and laughter, their whispers mingling with the rustling leaves. Each glance, each brush of their fingers was an affirmation of their love. The world beyond the tree faded, leaving only the two of them in a circle of twilight and shadow. But as they spoke of the life they longed for, fear crept into their hearts once more. "We cannot stay long," Pyramus said, his brow furrowed. "If anyone sees us, The consequences will be dire." Thisbe nodded, squeezing his hand tightly. "I know, but tonight, even for a little while, we are free." As they prepared to part, a sudden movement caught Thisbe's eye. A lioness, her jaws dripping with blood from a recent hunt, emerging from the nearby thicket. Panic surged through her. She ran, tearing away from Pyramus, leaving her veil behind in the dust. The lioness, drawn by curiosity and scent, found the veil and tore it to shreds, leaving crimson stains on the white fabric. Pyramus arrived moments later, his eyes wide with horror as he saw the torn veil. He fell to his knees, fear and despair colliding in his chest. "Thisbe, what has happened?" he whispered, dread in his voice. The sight of the bloodied veil twisted his thoughts, and in his mind, the worst had occurred. His love, the girl who had filled his nights with dreams, might be gone forever. Desperation overcame reason, and he made a choice that would forever alter the course of their story. Believing Thisbe to be dead, Pyramus could not bear the thought of life without her. Beneath the shade of the mulberry tree, he drew a small dagger, trembling with grief. "If I cannot be with you, my heart cannot endure the world without you," he murmured, tears spilling down his cheeks. He plunged the blade into his chest, collapsing onto the ground beneath the tree. His lifeblood spread across the earth, and the mulberry tree, once a place of hope and love, became a silent witness to the tragedy of unfulfilled longing. Meanwhile, Thisbe, having hidden in the shadows, watched in horror. When the lioness had disappeared, she returned to the tree, only to find Pyramus lying motionless, the dagger still clutched in his hand. Her scream pierced the night, raw with grief. She ran to him, dropping to her knees beside his lifeless body. "No, Pyramus, please, don't leave me," she cried, her voice breaking with despair. She felt the warmth of his hand slip from hers, and in that instant the world seemed to collapse around her. The dreams they had shared, the whispered promises, the love that had flourished in secret, all vanished in a moment of cruel fate. Unable to bear the thought of living in a world without him, Thisbe took the same dagger from Pyramus's side. "If we cannot be together, let us not be apart," she whispered, her tears falling onto the bloodied ground. With one final trembling motion, she joined him in death, the two hearts finally united beyond the reach of the cruel wall and the limitations of life. The mulberry tree, stained with the blood of the lovers, bore witness to their eternal bond. The white berries gradually turned deep red, a permanent testament to their love and the tragedy that had befallen them. The story of Pyramus and Thisbe spread through Babylon, whispered in hushed tones by neighbors and travelers alike. It became a tale of love that transcended life itself, a reminder of the power of longing and devotion. Though their families mourned the loss of the two young lovers, even they could not deny the purity of the bond that had led them to such a tragic end. Over time, the mulberry tree became a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to honor true love. Couples would leave small notes in the bark, echoing the secret messages that Pyramus and Thisbe had once exchanged through the wall. The deep red berries, permanent and unchanging, served as a symbol that love, once real and true, cannot be erased, even by fate. Though their lives were brief, Pyramus and Thisbe's story endured, reminding generations that love is both fragile and eternal. In their whispered dreams, in their stolen moments beneath the trees, they found a freedom that the world could never take away. Even in death, Their hearts beat together, echoing across time and space, a testament to a love that will never fade. And so, the city of Babylon remembered them, not for the sorrow of their passing, but for the boundless love that has shone through the darkest of circumstances, a love that continues to inspire hearts even today. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share this story with friends and family who might appreciate positive content. Subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales to uplift your spirits. Your support helps us bring more meaningful stories to life.